Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of The Message. I'm your host, Donatus King. We'll spend this next hour with one purpose in mind, and that one purpose is to deliver the message that God is Almighty. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be was made by God. Everything that ever happened, is happening right now, or ever will happen was made to happen by God. God is a master plan for all time and all creation. God is Almighty. The message is brought to you by, is produced by the Society of Knowledge Incorporated. The Society is an interdenominational, religious, spiritual organization. Our members come from various different religious and spiritual backgrounds. We have various different religious and spiritual beliefs. Although we come from different backgrounds and have different beliefs, there's one belief that we share. There's one piece of knowledge that we hold in common, and that's the knowledge that there is a being, by no matter what name we may have been taught to call that being, by no matter what name we may have come to know that being, whether that name be God, Allah, Yahweh, Jesus, Buddha, Jehovah, nature, I am, by no matter what name, we know that there is a being that possesses not some of the power, not most of the power, but all of the power. We know that there is indeed an almighty being. That's the reason we do this show, and the only reason we do this show, to deliver the message that that being that personally I call God, that being is indeed almighty. Today is January the 24th, 2019. I remind you of that fact because tonight, as we are on most Thursdays, we are live. And I remind you of that fact because this show is an open discussion. It's a two-way conversation. For those of you that are watching on television, you see the telephone number that's on your screen. I invite you to use that number, call in, and join the discussion. For those of you that are watching by Facebook, Brother Alwyn, thank you for watching on Facebook. Brother Alwyn, if there's something that's going on in your church, your mosque, your temple, your place of worship, and you want to let the world know about it, call in or post your comment on Facebook, and I'll make sure I do everything that I can to make that announcement to our viewing audience. If there's something that's going on in your nonprofit organization and you want to let the world know about it, call in. The number that's on your screen, and for those of you that are watching by Facebook, that number is 504-483, and we're going to pull it back up in just a minute. Yeah, there it is, 483-3336. So if you're watching on Facebook, you can post your comment or you can call. And that number again, 504-483-3336. More important than what's going on in your church, more important than what's going on in your nonprofit, if there's something that God has done for you in your life, a miracle that God has worked in your life, call in, post your comment on Facebook, post your testimony on Facebook. Testify as to what God has done for you in your life. As I said, this is an open discussion, a two-way conversation. I see Sister Dana. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Sister Dana, has God done something for you in your life? Throughout your life, has God done something for you in your life? Is God real, Sister Dana? If so, if you have an opinion on that, or if you have some testimony, post your comment on Facebook. You know, not just here in the United States, but around the world, there are people that are going through some things. And I put it that way, going through some things right now. Here in the United States, we know there's some folks that 34 days ago, they were living comfortably. There was more than 800,000 people here in the United States. 34 days ago, they were living comfortably, had a steady paycheck, had a job that people would give almost anything to get. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the federal employees that have been without a paycheck for 34 days. So that just goes to show you how at any minute, any second, your life can change. No matter how much you think you are in charge, your life can change just like that. So there are 800,000 people that were directly affected by this government shutdown. And some of them are beginning to lose faith as to whether or not there is a God. Because some of them same folks that were laid off, that were furloughed, some of those same folks are folks that are about to lose their homes because they haven't made the mortgage payments. Their children are about to be expelled from school because they can't pay the tuition. They're about to lose their automobiles because they can't pay the note on their automobiles. Some of them same folks that regularly tithed to their church, some of the same folks that every week gave money out of their paychecks to support the church, some of the same folks right now are going to the food pantries to give food to feed their families. You never know. Just like that, your life can change. And now let me tell you something. There was something in the paper, in the news this past week or last week, where it talked about a lady, I think she'd been in a coma for over 5 years. And miraculously, she came out of it. You see, God is working miracles here in the year 2019. So if God has worked a miracle in your life, Sister Dan, if God has worked a miracle in your life, Brother Alvin, if God has worked a miracle in your life, share your testimony. You know, your testimony might be the one thing that someone that's watching this show now or watching it when it's rebroadcast, the one thing that they need to hear that will encourage them, to help them hold on until things get better. All right, we're going to move on with the show. And let's see, I want to make sure that we have everything. Looks like we might be having a little power failure here. But I sure don't want that to happen. All right. Okay, and I'm just moving things around a little bit. All right, and as you see here, what I'm doing is this technology that we're working with, and this is some technology that okay, see, it's good to pay attention, and this is live TV, so that's why you see me moving around and carrying on like that, because we are indeed live. All right, and I thank God for letting me see that we were having a little difficulty with our power, but I think we are straight now. And as you see that, those of you that are watching on Facebook, you see all of the little details, and what it was is that we had a cord that had become unplugged. But I think we're straight now, and that's good. All right, as I was saying earlier, we're going to get straight into our show, and today is indeed January the 24th, 2019. We have our announcements, and this is the format of the show. We'll have our announcements, and then we'll have testimonies. And following the testimonies, we'll have our religious spiritual study. And as we are reminded, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Just because you hear me say something on this show or you see something, don't take that as being gospel. Don't take that for being true. Prove it. Okay, prove it. Check it out yourself. And if you find out that, yes, after checking it out yourself, if you prove it, then hold on to it. And if you find out that, no, it's not quite so, let it go. All right? 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 21. Our words of inspiration, that'll follow our religious spiritual discussion. And that's coming out of the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verses 7 through 22. Our announcements, www.godisalmighty.org. That's our main website. I invite you to lock that in. When you go to that main website, there are links to all of our social media outlets. There's a religious discussion blog, Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Visit that. Lock that into your web browser. Rock of Ages Ministries International, Apostle Ronnie Bailey. I'm going to have to give the apostle a call. I'm going to have to give him a call because he has a show that airs, and I've been a guest on the show in the past. And, I'm going to call to see about the availability of me being a guest again or having them back on this show. New Orleans Peacekeepers here in the city of New Orleans, 504-500-1706. If you know someone that's out there that's having some difficulties, having some disputes, give the Peacekeepers a call. They'll come out and help resolve the dispute without resorting to violence. Brother Frank, thank you for joining us. And Brother Frank, I know that you have testified about the power of God. I know God has brought you, has blessed you. And if you want to share your testimony on Facebook, you share it, and I'll make sure that I share that with our viewing audience. A cleaning concierge, we need you, all right? And this is a job opportunity. Look, it says steady work and great joy. Shifts available from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 11 p.m., 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. So if you want to work, here's a job opportunity. And if you can't quite make that number out, that phone number is 504-833-5200. That's 504-833-5200. And if you didn't have an ink pen to write that down, just give me a call at any time, and I'll give you that information. But they're looking for help for commercial cleaning and building maintenance support. Now, that goes to show you. I was just talking about folks being out of work. And look how God works this stuff. Maybe a cleaning job was something that you wouldn't be interested in because you had one of those government jobs. That's what we call them, a government job, with your pension and all the rest of that. But maybe right now, you might be a TSA worker that hasn't gotten paid, and your landlord might be telling you right now that they empathize with you, they feel sorry for you, but you got to pay your rent or get out. Now, here's a job opportunity for you. And if any of you know of any other job opportunities, let me know so I can post them and spread that word. You might be a blessing to somebody, help them get a job, help them pay their bills, help them put food on the table. All right. In the city of New Orleans, you can call 311 from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for free smoke detectors. Yeah, we had a snap of cold weather. Folks are firing up those space heaters and opening up the ovens for heat and all the rest of that. You need to have smoke detectors in your house. Check your car's back seats for babies. Babies are being left in back seats and freezing to death. So check your back seats. And our prayers go out to that family this past week where the father and I think a 2-year-old child and the 17-year-old nephew drowned. They ran off the road into the bayou down here in southern Louisiana. So our prayers go out to them. Our prayers go out to all those that have lost loved ones in this past week. This coming Sunday, January 27th, the 9th year anniversary of Pastor Thomas R. Nunnery Sr. This Sunday, January 27th, 11 a.m., and that's going to be at First Zion Baptist Church, 1221 South Causeway Boulevard in Jefferson, Louisiana. And again, that address is 1221 South Causeway Boulevard in Jefferson, Louisiana, and that phone number, 504-835-0884. This coming Sunday, January 27th, 11 a.m. And the speaker will be Pastor Gerald L. Vinette Sr. from the 5th African Baptist Church in St. Rose, Louisiana. I just want to take just a point of, I like when people say that, a point of personal privilege. I just want to take a minute to extend my thank you to the pastor and the congregation at First Zion. I've visited First Zion on more than one occasion, and every time I've gone there, they've made me feel right at home. There's some beautiful people there at First Zion, open hearts, and I don't think my experience was anything that was unusual from what I observed, from what I saw, they treat everyone the same way. Welcome them as family, welcome them with open arms there at First Zion. That's 1221 South Causeway Boulevard. All right. Testimonies. Let's go into our testimonies. I invite everyone to share your testimonies and hear a few testimonies that have been shared throughout the years.
Hello, I'm Anita Woodley. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina right now, and God is almighty.
All right. Let's try that one more time.
Hello, I'm Anita Woodley. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina right now, and God is almighty.
All right. Let's see if we have another one.
Peace. My name is Chosen, and I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And I want to let you know that God is almighty. Peace.
All right. The young man said, God is indeed almighty. Okay, our religious spiritual study, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, coming out of the first book of Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 21. I don't have anything to put on the screen for our religious study session tonight, but I'm just gonna talk. Okay, I'm just gonna have a discussion. Let's just have a conversation, and the topic of the conversation is I am. Okay? That's the topic. That's what I want to talk about tonight in our religious / spiritual discussion session. I am. Okay? And as a part of that discussion, as a part of that conversation, I take and go back to the beginning of this show. And at the beginning of this show, each week, I talk about the society of knowledge and who we are and what it is that we believe in, what it is that we know. And who we are is we are interdenominational. Interdenominational. We're not any one particular denomination, not any one particular religion. We have members that are Catholics, Baptists, Jews, Muslims, atheists. That's right, I said atheists, agnostics. Interdenominational, runs the gamut. And the one thing, even though we may place different labels on ourselves, the one thing that we have in common, the one thing that joins us as being members of the society of knowledge is that we know that there is an almighty being. We know that there is an almighty being. We may not agree on what that being's name is. We may not agree on the best way to serve that being. We may not agree on what rituals, what ceremonies we should use to worship that being. We may not agree on any of that, but we agree that there is an almighty being. Now, I bring that up at the beginning of this discussion. I bring it up because you heard me talk about the folks there at First Zion. Now, First Zion is a Baptist church. Now, there are some Baptist churches. There are some Catholic churches. There are some Islamic mosques. There are some Jewish synagogues that unless you are a member of that particular religion, that particular denomination, unless you are a member, they will not welcome you with open arms. They will not welcome you with open arms, and definitely they will not allow you to step into their pulpit. Now, I have been in the pulpit of many Baptist churches, have been made to feel welcome, a member of the family, because no matter what label we called ourselves, we shared that knowledge that there is an almighty being, no matter what label. And that brings us into our discussion tonight, the discussion topic, I am. See, when we read a little bit later on, because we are going to read some scriptures, we're going to be coming out of the book of Exodus, chapter 3, starting in verse 7. When we read tonight, during our words of inspiration, we're going to read that phrase that I am. You see, when we talk about God, and we talk about different religions and denominations, and God should be, God's name is El Shaddai, or Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah. Jesus. When we read in various scriptures, we go to different churches, we hear different things. But one of the things that struck me when God itself was asked, what's your name? God didn't say Allah. God didn't say Yahweh. God didn't say Jehovah. God didn't say Buddha. God didn't say Jesus. God said what? I am. Say, tell them that I am sent you. I am. Now look at here. I did me some homework. I did some research. You see, I don't want to be a dummy. See, Thessalonians say, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. I went to prove it myself. I said, well, hold on now. What is this I am stuff? I am. And I looked that up. I researched that. And the word am, A-M, that word am, let me read you what I found out, okay, when I did my research. Am, A-M. It is, guess what it is? It's a part of speech. I know some of y'all was sleeping in your grammar class, and that must be around about the 4th grade grammar. Some of y'all was sleeping, and some of y'all just too doggone old, y'all and forgot it. Am is a part of speech, and a part of speech it is a verb. Brother Eves, I know you are an astute lawyer, so I know you know that word am is a verb. And not only is it a verb, but it says it's a verb that means a state of being. It's the first person singular form of the verb to be. So when you look at that word and say am, it means, look, it ain't no guesswork. It ain't no supposition. It ain't no doubt about it. is real. This is a being. So when God told Moses his name, when Moses said, well, who should I say? God said, I am. I am sent you. I am real. This is no figment of your imagination. I am real. I am a being. You see how basic that is? You know, I'm not an Egyptian being. I'm not a Chinese being. I'm not a European being. I am. That basic, that fundamental. So when we talk about these things that sometimes separate us, these things that sometimes divide us. Oh, my skin is dark, yours is light. My hair is straight, yours is curly. My eyes are slanted, yours are not. I'm tall, you're not. I'm chubby, you're not. Hold on. I'm Catholic, you're not. I'm Baptist, you're not. I'm Jewish, you're not. When we talk about these things that divide us, and we see one of the earliest names that the Almighty made himself known as, it said, I am. I am. That interdenominational. I am. And I see Brother Ryan, and as Brother Ryan is down there in Lafayette, and you go show you how the Spirit works. I invite you to, you can visit. If you're watching on Facebook now, you can look earlier. I posted a session that they had in Lafayette this past week. Brother Ryan, Brother Corey, a discussion that they had as they worship God and discuss these things. I invite you to look at that. We have a page, actually, a Facebook page, The Message. Go there and it's posted there. These are some younger men, younger than me, that are doing some work, delivering that message down there in Lafayette. And the discussion that they had this past week was the center. Okay, the center. And, you know, there's some deep young brothers down there. And as they began to discuss the center, and it was the center as it applies not only literally, but figuratively, the center, whether you, your person, your body is the center of your consciousness, the center of your being, or is your center something that actually extends outside further than this shell? And there's some discussion. I know Brother Corey was talking about using the analogy of a tree, and whether or not the tree was the center, or if it was the branch was the center, or leaves the center, or if it extends even further than that. But when I take that discussion and I stretch that discussion out, what I come back to the center, defining me not as this, but as a part of the one, a part of the whole. And when we do our opening, as you saw the screen that was up earlier, everything that was, is now, and will be, was made by God. There's a new line that we're incorporating in that, and that new line is everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be is a part of God. Everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, is a part of God. So now let me flip that. Let me flip that. God is everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be. Everything, the sum total, that's God. Okay? Wait a minute. Hold on, let me see something. Wait, I'm just thinking about something. The Spirit working on me now right now. Is. I think that's a verb. Is, just like be and am. Is. Everything that is now, ever was, will be. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Oh, that is a verb. Ain't that something? And what God told Moses, didn't God use a verb? Isn't that something? Not a noun. Didn't God use a verb to describe himself? I am. All right, look, let's move on. Let's move on. Sister Lily, Brother Marcellus, thank you for joining us on Facebook. Let's move. So we're going to get into some of these scriptures. We're going to get into them. We'll get into them right now. Words of inspiration coming out of the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 7 through 22. If you have a King James version of the Bible, the words in your Bible ought to be exactly the same as these. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. Okay, we talked about this a little bit last week, about this verse, and one of the questions that I asked last week is, if thousands of years ago that God could hear the cry of his people, has God gotten deaf? Does God need a miracle ear now? Well, if God has not gotten deaf, and if God could hear the cries of his people thousands of years ago, well, that same God can hear the cries of his people today. You see, the Hebrews had to go through something. See, look. God is letting the folks know that, hey, I hear you. I hear the cries of your affliction. And I could have brought you out from bondage 100 years ago, because scripture said that the Hebrews were enslaved for 400 years. God said, look, I could have brought you out 200 years ago, 300 years ago. But that wasn't my plan. You are where you are because I have a plan, not only for them 400 years, but I got a plan that extends from before the beginning of time, from before there was a heaven and earth until after the end of time. And them 400 years is just a little teeny part of my plan. Come on, get some understanding. Just a little teeny part. All right, come on, let's move on. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. look at here. This is some understanding to come out of this. Okay? When you read them scriptures, look, what did I tell you just now? Didn't I just say that God had a plan? And look, God is opening up his plan. Oh, and look, I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't give a recap. Okay, some of you that may not have seen the program last week. Okay, what's going on now is that Moses is talking to God. And Moses is up on the mountain. And God is talking to Moses out of the burning bush. All right? So some of y'all might have been lost trying to figure out what's going on. That's what's going on. And God is talking to Moses and telling Moses exactly what's happening. And God's saying, look, I'm going to deliver them. I hear y'all crying. I'm going to deliver them. Go tell your people that. Go tell them Hebrews that. I'm going to deliver them. Not only am I going to deliver them, but I'm going to bring them to a land flowing with milk and honey. Flowing. You ain't going to have to work hard for it. It's flowing already. Milk and honey. Yeah, it was part of my plan that you had to go through what you've been through for these last 400 years in Egypt, but I'm going to bring you out of that. And as bad as things were for you in Egypt, they're going to be that good for you where I'm taking you. This land of what? Flowing. You ain't got to work hard to get it. It's flowing. Milk and honey. Now, see, this is encouraging to me. See, when I read stuff like this, because if you believe this is true, then that's saying that no matter how bad things are, and no matter how long they have been that bad, that it could be in God's plan that you be delivered from that and taken from all that badness and placed into a land of milk and honey. If God could do that for the Hebrews, why can't he do it for you? That's encouraging to me. No matter how bad things might get for me, I can look and say, well, hold on now. What was so special about the Hebrews? If God could do that for them, that's a whole race of people that's been oppressed, enslaved for 400 years. If God could do that for them, well, nah, God could do it for me. That's encouraging. That's encouraging. A land of milk and honey. Now look, this is the little kicker right here. Okay, this is a kicker, and the kicker is God lets Moses know that. Now look, this is a land that's flowing with milk and honey, but it's not an empty place. See, it's not empty. They got some folks that's there already. All right. See, he's telling Moses, say, look, now, look, don't be shocked. Hold on. Don't be shocked when you get there and you find that there are Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites already there. Man, whoa, wait. Get some understanding. Look at this. All these 400 years, them Hebrews been living in slavery in Egypt. But wait a minute. But they got a land that's flowing with milk and honey, and folks is over there living in that land. They're over there living in that land. They're living in that land of milk and honey. They're living a life. What's that record they got there? They say, living my best life? Them Hivites and Perizzites and Hittites, they're living their best life already. And God's saying, look, I'm going to bring y'all over there. Yeah, let y'all live y'all best life. Smile. Come on now. All right. Come on. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Now, isn't this apropos? At this time of the year, we read that scripture. And I say apropos, it's on time. And I say this time of the year we read that because we just celebrated this past Monday. It was Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday. And some folks might equate the Reverend Dr. King with Moses. See, that speech that every MLK Day, every Martin Luther King Day, they play that same speech. I have a dream. And he says that I have seen the promised land. See that? The promised land. And what he's talking about is that land that Moses is talking about, that land of milk and honey. Isn't that something that we read in the scripture right this same time we celebrating Dr. King's birthday? That land of milk and honey. And the thing that the Spirit is working on me right now. See, Moses, now I read ahead. You know, I cheat. I read my Bible ahead of time. And I've read ahead. So I know. And I hate to spoil the story for you. I hate people that do that too, that tell me what's going to happen. They done read the book already, they done seen the movie already. They can tell me, oh, look what's getting ready to happen. Man, don't tell me that. But I'm going to do it. I read ahead. And guess what? Moses never crossed over to that promised land. Yeah, there was a promised land. The Hebrews didn't make it, but Moses didn't. And the similarity with Dr. King, he didn't say he been there. He said he's seen it. He said he might not get there with us. And we know that his life was taken. Just go to show you the way that Spirit works. See, in our lives, it just might be God's plan that we can see events that are going to occur. See, it might be God's plan that we know this change that's going to come. It might be God's plan that even though we know this change is going to come, that is not God's plan that we go through that change. See, Moses was told about a great change for the better that was going to happen with the Hebrew people. See, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King had a vision. He said he's seen the promised land. But it wasn't God's plan for him to make it there. But let me share you something with you. You see, it would be just torture. It would be torture to be able to see this land of milk and honey, be able to know that that's where your people are going. But then know that you are not going to make it there yourself. But that's where the blessings of God comes in. The blessing of knowing that, hey, as Moses said, look, what Moses told Joshua, hey, it ain't for me to go across there. But God strengthened Moses to be able to bring his folks to the banks of the river, even though he never crossed over. To give him that strength, that encouragement, that sense of purpose. You see, God blessed the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King with that strength to know that he might not make it to that promised land, but gave him that strength to continue marching, continue doing the work that he was doing, continue to march with those garbage men, continue to stand up for right. And blessings. Those blessings. You see how Spirit works? We reading that verse right now at this time of the year. All right, come on now. We was talking about I am, talking about the verbs and all the rest of that. Let's see something. Let's see a little bit more here. All right. And Moses said unto God, who am I? Brother Reno, Sister Tamika, thank you for joining on Facebook. Look at, sister, look, it said, Moses said unto God, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. Now, you know, that's typical, right? That's typical. And I say that's typical because when Moses was given his mission, the first thing that Moses said, well, hold on now. Wait a minute. I'm not qualified for that job. I'm not qualified. You know, who am I? Who am I to go to Pharaoh? Now, get some understanding now. Come on. Get some understanding. Let's back up some. Because I know some of y'all done forgot who Moses was and forgot his story. Okay, so let's do a recap. Okay, let's bring back up to speed. Remember, Moses was a Hebrew. He was a Jew. And when he was born, all the Jews were supposed to be killed. All the little Jew boy babies were supposed to be killed. Moses' mama hid him in a little bitty boat and put him in the river, floated him down the river. Okay? Pharaoh's daughter, Pharaoh, that was the king. Pharaoh's daughter found him in the river, raised Moses as her own son. And then as he became a grown man, Moses had an enlightenment that the way the Egyptians were treating the Jews, the Hebrews, that it was wrong. Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew one day. Moses killed the Egyptian, hid his body. The word got out that Moses had committed a murder. Moses fled. Moses ran away, ran into the desert. They was going to kill Moses. The Egyptians were going to kill Moses if they caught him. And now, look at this stuff. Now we see God telling Moses, hey, man, you got to go talk to Pharaoh. Now, isn't this Moses is a fugitive. He's wanted for murder. You know, Moses, hey, man, Moses up there talking to God. God talking about, look, you going to tell Pharaoh all this, that, all that, let my people go, all this kind of stuff. Man, don't you know I'm a fugitive? Don't you know the minute they see me, they're going to grab me and going to kill me because I'm a fugitive? And you telling me something about go talk to Pharaoh? Wait a minute, God, what's up with this? God gave Moses an assignment. Each and every last one. This is what I know. You know, I ain't telling you got to believe this. I ain't telling you you got to know the same thing that I know. But I know that each and every last one of us, me, you, your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your children, your cousins, every last one of us have an assignment. God has given each and every last one of us an assignment. Each and every last one of us is a part of God with our own distinct role to play in this entity of being. Okay? This one thing, this I am. Each of us have our part to play. Just like this finger has a part to play in this body. This mouth has a part to play in this body. This ear, this nose, this eye has a part to play in this body. Each and every last one of us are part of the one body, or part of the I am. Each and every last one of us has a part to play in that body. Now, just like Moses, when he was given his assignment, when it was revealed to him what his role was going to be, Moses couldn't understand that because he didn't know how he was equipped, didn't think he was equipped to fulfill his assignment. Oh, I can't be the one to talk to Pharaoh because I'm a fugitive. I can't be the one to talk to Pharaoh because I don't know nothing about all that kind of stuff. All right. Guess what? The time is getting short in the show, and we right. Look here. God say, it's going to be a token. I'm going to give you a token, and after you and your people going to serve me on this mountain. All right, let's move on. We got about 2 more scriptures we're going to try to hit. And Moses, whoa, look at that. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, wait a minute, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. I am. See, we're not going any further with those scriptures tonight. We're going to stop. We started right here in our religious spiritual discussion session. We started here talking about I am. And now we reading the scriptures, and this is where we ending. I am. You see, look, you know, if you wasn't sleeping in the classroom, you know that there's another part of speech that's called a noun. Okay? A noun. Right? Like, and a noun signifies what? A person, right? A place, what? Or a thing. Okay? A man. That's a noun. Okay? Eyeglasses. Noun. It's a thing. It's a noun. Ink pen. That's a thing. That's a noun. You got nouns, and then you got pronouns, and pronouns take the place of a noun. Okay? He, she, it, they. You see, God could have used a noun when Moses said, who shall I say? Or tell him Yahweh, tell him Jehovah, tell him Buddha, tell him Allah, tell him Jesus, tell him anybody. But no, God did not use a noun to describe himself, to denominate himself. God used a verb, and the verb is a verb meaning being. I am. See, God didn't say, I'm the black man, I'm the white man, I'm the red man, the yellow man. God didn't say, I'm a man. God said, I am. And you take it from there. I am. As I close up tonight, I thank the I am for all the blessings that it's given me. I thank the I am for letting me know that I am a part of the I am. I thank the I am for letting me know that everything that ever was, is now, or ever will be, is a part of the I am. And as I close, all of the miracles we've been reading about, the I am performing. The I am has not gotten weak. The I am is still working miracles. And it's my prayer that in this upcoming week, that the I am, the God Almighty, the great I am, blesses you and yours with peace.